A man wakes up before sunrise. No alarm, no boss, no schedule waiting for him. For a moment, he simply listens. Birds call from the trees, smoke drifts from last night's fire. Nearby, children are already awake. Then he stands up, not because he has work, because he is alive. Today, that sounds strange. Most people spend their lives preparing for jobs, searching for jobs, or working jobs. It feels natural, like humans have always lived this way. But that's not what happened. For almost all of human history, jobs didn't exist. No offices, no salaries, no promotions, no provorns, no weekends, nothing. And yet humanity survived for hundreds of thousands of years. So what exactly did people do all day? Most imagine ancient humans constantly fighting for survival, running after animals, searching endlessly for food. But researchers discovered something surprising. Many hunter-gatherer societies spent only a few hours each day gathering food. The rest of their time was spent talking, exploring, making tools, playing games, telling stories around fires. In other words, living. Survival was important. But life was not organized around work. It was organized around people. And that difference would eventually change the course of history. Around 12,000 years ago, something small happened. A seed entered the ground. At first, it seemed insignificant, but that seed would eventually create cities, governments, corporations, and jobs. Humans discovered farming. Instead of following food, food could now grow where people lived. Villages appeared, then towns, then entire civilizations. Most people see agriculture as humanity's greatest breakthrough, but researchers noticed something strange. Early farmers often worked harder than the hunter-gatherers before them. Longer hours, more physical labor, more disease. So why continue? Because farming produced something humanity had never truly experienced before. Surplus, extra food, extra resources, extra wealth. For the first time, people could own more than they immediately needed. And once wealth could be stored, it could be controlled. Everything began to change. Land became valuable, power became concentrated, and society slowly transformed into something entirely new. As civilizations grew larger, people stopped doing everything themselves. One person farmed, another built houses, another made tools, and another protected resources. Specialization had arrived. For the first time, humans could spend their entire lives performing one role. This was efficient, but it came with a hidden cost: dependence. A hunter understood nearly every part of survival. Modern humans often understand only one small piece of a giant system. Look around. Food arrives from places you've never seen. Electricity flows through networks you don't understand. Money moves through invisible digital systems. Millions of people perform tasks that support other tasks inside systems too large for any single person to fully comprehend. The larger civilization became, the smaller individual roles started to feel. And maybe that's why so many people experience a strange kind of exhaustion. Not physical exhaustion, but psychological exhaustion. Because our ancestors evolved in small groups where purpose was obvious. Modern life often hides purpose behind layers of systems, and the human brain is still trying to adapt.
But this isn't a story about rejecting modern life. Ancient humans faced dangers we can barely imagine. Disease, starvation, violence. Nobody truly wants to return to that world. Yet there is something worth remembering. When scientists study happiness, they repeatedly find the same pattern. Meaning rarely comes from status alone, or money, or titles. It comes from connection, purpose, and belonging. The same things that mattered thousands of years ago around ancient campfires. And perhaps that's the strange truth hidden inside this entire story. Humans survived for hundreds of thousands of years before jobs existed. Not because they worked less, but because they understood something we often forget. Life came first, work came later. And maybe the most important question isn't, what did humans do before jobs existed? Maybe it's, if every job title disappeared tomorrow, who would you still be? That question is older than civilization, and we're still searching for the answer.